Imagine walking the very paths that awaken your soul, where every stone, every temple, every sacred site holds a key to your divine essence. From December 11th to 18th, 2025, embark on your initiation into the Merkaba grid, a transformative pilgrimage designed to activate your ancient body technology and reconnect with your own light body. Experience a private ceremony between the paws of the Sphinx, a star-filled desert overnight stay in the Valley of Wales, exclusive access to the Great Pyramid's inner chambers, and deep feminine mysteries at hidden places of the Rose lineage in 𝘊𝗵𝗁cie. Engage in daily alchemical teachings, sacred rituals, and sisterhood circles, all set against the backdrop of Egypt's timeless landscape. This isn't just a journey, it's a soul remembrance. Are you ready to awaken the light within? Spaces are limited. Click the link in the show notes to claim your place in this life-changing experience and join us this December. Welcome, mystics and seekers of sacred travel. Today, we will get very witchy and dive deep into ancestral codings of place, landscape, and self with my magical guest, Melissa, the Herstory Witch.
Hello, and thanks for having me here.
Melissa and I met early on in our paths in a priestess training, actually, and already back then I was deeply fascinated by her deep-rooted ancestral connection and the way she brings forward these threads in the here and now, so we don't carry them as unnecessary burdens, but actualize the gifts stored in the lineage. Melissa, thank you, and welcome. I'm so excited to have you on the show. It's a great honor, especially because I know that it's a bit of a stretch for you to do this in English. So thank you so much for being here. And the audience today. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'm so happy and I'm so glad that I can talk with you about this topic. And yeah, it's really a stretch for me out of the comfort zone, but well, that's why I'm here. So woo, let's do this. You have to say, normally, because of my husband, I'm really fluent in Spanish, but English, it's like third language. So let's connect here.
So good, so good. Thank you so much for doing this with us. So would you share a little bit about yourself? Who is the Herstory Witch and how did she turn into this badass, powerful beacon of magic that she is today?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned before, like we met on this priestess training, and this was actually where it all began also for me. And nowadays I'm working like I think 3 years now from now on with my online business as an ancestral witch. And yeah, I also do a lot of work about the witch wound. And my intention and also my goal is really to connect people with their roots so they can, literally live on this gift and also do all of the shadow work, but also the light work, like connecting with their roots and don't have to be like this unnecessary or like this burden you have to resolve with your ancestors. It's like everything in life. It's like the balance between light and shadow. And this is what I want to do. Like, I'm not just a light worker. I'm also like deeply connected with the shadows, and therefore also with all the topics of the witch wound and all this, like history stuff. But why I'm here also, and this is like the first time I will do this, is because I also work with the ancestors of place. And this is like the first time I also will host like sacred travel journey to the places of Harz. And this is kind of my work, like ancestral work, also with the ancestors of blood, but also with the ancestors of place, and building a bridge between all the background, historical background to the witch hunts and everything.
I love that. Thank you. So we'll dive deeper into all of these different layers. But I do want to start with speaking about the archetype of the witch and also the woundings before actually heading into how we connect this to the land. So there's one thing that you said in the preparation that really made me reflect a lot. And it was that you believe that reclaiming our intuition and inner magic is a political, spiritual, and deeply personal act. So I found that fascinating how you wove that trinity. So can you elaborate a little bit what you actually mean by this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I think that a lot of women, especially women, but also like queer people and minorities in general, they were so deeply oppressed. And now we also can see this by the political movement, that more and more of us reclaiming their powers and also like fight the patriarchy, because it's so sad and it's so crazy what happened, especially also in Germany right at the moment. So for me, it's like reclaiming our powers, like our, I mean, female power or energy, which is not deeply connected to the gender. It's like, for me, it's like yin and yang energy. So, all of this stuff, like our powers as a witch, like clairvoyance and clairsense, all the clairs, to reclaim, and also reclaim our voice to fight for our rights. For me, it's like deeply political as well, because for so many centuries we were like really oppressed, and we had to function, and we had to, I don't know, dim our light. And so, yeah, now I can feel like literally in my
chakra is moving.
yeah,
Yes, definitely.
it's now the time to literally free ourselves from all of this. Yeah, so this is for me like has different layers. Yeah.
I love that. And, it's something that I have never heard someone say, but it makes total sense. And I just want to weave in a little experience that I had, because I traveled to a place in Switzerland this over the weekend where I go very often, but I explored a part of the valley. And by the way, it's called Valley of Light. So you were talking about the light and the shadow, which I haven't been to before. And it just like unlocked another layer of cellular memory and codings. What you are speaking into actually like is stored there. Like so much of the whole valley at a certain point was ruled by women only, and how they were able to maintain that power through kind of like rolling rocks down the mountain to the intruders who were trying to come up. And there is still, and I didn't know any of that until only I walked and I felt, and then I read a lot about it after. But when I went into it, so right in the entrance, there is the huge gate, and I was just like passing it, and I looked at it and literally going like, "Who are you? Like, we gotta talk." and then and then later on, I found out that this was it's the gate of the women, and like it holds all the story of how they were able to maintain the peace for a very long time when other political parties like try to intrude. And so it's just, I guess, something that is more and more also coming into the forefront. And now that you say it, I feel that, yeah, it makes total sense. It's the spiritual aspect weaving in all of these other layers of life.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, I think, like when we met was also because of Inga, and she did like all this work with the uterus and everything, like reconnecting with this energy. And for me, this was like a huge liberation, because before I was like really living in my masculine energy. So this was like part of my way as a witch to really reconnect with also this kind of energy and reclaiming my power. And yeah, like especially in the last weeks, I could really feel in the collective field that it was time to reconnect also, especially with our female ancestors and do the work like in the womb and freeing ourselves, because in the collective it's like so much pressure and so much shitty things going on. So I was like, ugh, we have to reclaim. Yeah, and especially like my community, there are a lot of people who are still afraid to be seen, especially as a witch. So they're like, I call it like hiding in the broom closet. And they're afraid to, literally as being seen as a witch or as they are, and reclaiming their powers. So it's like a lot of my work is like guiding these people to heal the witch wound and step into their power again, and also step into their light. Yeah.
So you mentioned the fear of being seen. And I guess that's one way of like how the witch wound shows up. But what are other like very tangible examples of how we carry these woundings, like literally in ourselves, in our blood and bones? And also, how can we transition into healing them?
Yeah. As I mentioned, like one big thing is also this standing up for ourselves and like really speaking up for ourselves, and in discussions or everything mentioned with ourself and our inner truth. So this is where a lot of people struggling, and me myself including, like there are some certain type of men cis men they have like this authority and like this energy that I I used to shrink. So it's like there's this witch wound, and I feel like it is unsafe to speak my truth. So yeah, this is actually what a lot of people feeling, and this is also or can be connected with the witch wound. And another thing is all about sexuality, like this really step into your power and guide you with lust and literally like free yourself from all this shame that you felt, or also all this sadness probably because of the witch wound, because there were like in the witch huntings it wasn't allowed to literally like be sexual free, or as a woman you couldn't allow pleasure. You were like to serve for the man, and you couldn't experience yourself. So there is nowadays a lot of this like pain and also shame in a lot of sexuality. Yeah. And speaking of sisterhood, of course, like there's this, I mean, fighting or like for the male gaze, like, you know, as women we have to compete and stuff like this. And in circles, what you work as well, you know, that is like reconnecting with other sisters and literally feel safe, because at the time from the witch hunters they wanted to get the women against each other. And this is like also really, really sad, because we are so much stronger when we work together and we are bonding.
Totally. So how does your work then tie into bringing healing into these woundings?
For me, like always, the first step is consciousness, that we are aware of it, and not something that we, I don't know, have to fix like really quickly, that we learn that it's part of our energetic field, and that we, learn to live with it, like with the witch wound, that it's not something we have to get rid of. And we live, we can learn to live with it and integrate it like really softly. And for me, it was, or it still is, read a lot, inform me a lot, especially because of my background as an historian, obviously about the historic part, but also all the feministic stuff that is going on, like political things. Like I really like to inform myself, but up to a certain point, because I also have to protect myself. Like I feel if I dive too deep into it, I can lose myself in like this feeling of ugh. So yeah, there is like a balance, and also connecting with others, like people who share the same values and have like uh, like a same point of view, and see that I'm not alone. Like literally connecting with other witches is like for me super healing, and like a grand part is also ancestral healing for me. That's like the work I do. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey friends, today I want to share something truly, truly incredible and life-changing with you. I'm holding a quantum frequency spray in my hands from the brand called Levy Lights. And you would probably not believe me if I told you that this was ultimately what really helped me sustain my gut health, and also what supported my mother not having to go into surgery for her jawbone. And she was able to regrow her jawbone with just a spray. It's not just a spray, it is actually the highest form of nature meeting quantum frequency technology. This is cosmetics that contain over 3,000 imprints, vibrational imprints of the highest, purest substances of nature: herbs, flowers, flower essences, giving an imprint or a trigger to your body to really remember your very own blueprint. And on a physical level, that is being healthy, the cells communicating the hormones in a balanced way. And also on a spirit level, that is remembering that you are a divine being. I have never come across anything like that, and I work with energy medicine basically every day. I am truly convinced that this is what can support each and every one, not just on a personal level, but also collective level on our consciousness journey. And it's truly also a network of light. So if this resonates with you, and if you feel that you would like to find out more about it, check the link in the show notes. I am hosting bi-weekly calls where you can find out more information. You can also contact me one-on-one, and I'm very, very happy to share more about Levy Lights, how they supported my family, my own life, and how they may also contribute to better health, cellular regeneration, on also your consciousness journey. Check it out today. So another, fascinating part that you mentioned, you are a historian, a Herstory. And you actually wrote a master thesis on witchcraft. And for that, did extensive research, I believe, in Mexico and Colombia. So can you tell us a little bit, how did these journeys change the way that you navigate life today?
Yeah. So I was thinking, I think when we known each other, I was still like a student. Yeah. And so, and I was like, well, what will I do with my life? And I was like, well, either way, I'm becoming a witch, like full-time job, or I will be an historian. Historian? Yeah. And so I went like literally all in with my with my investigations, and went to Mexico City, where I studied with the historic fuentes, Quellen, with historic paper resources, exactly, of the Inquisition. So it was really fascinating for me, and there was like an kind of wake up call that I knew deep in my heart that I had to do it also with Germany, because I was there like from another culture, and I was deeply moved, but I knew that I have to literally dive deeper in my own roots. So as I went there, I also experienced not just a part, like the historian part, but also all of this Mexican life. Like I went there just afterwards, Dia de los Muertos, and it was really, really nice and I was like deeply touched by all of this because they were like all these ofrendas, like the ancestor, the altars of the ancestors, and it was really, really impressive. And there were where I take my decision, like, I'm not going to be a historian. I will go on to the full-time witch. Yeah, so Mexico really like a big impact on me.
Calling of the ancestors, I
Yeah.
would say.
And in this
your
time,
path,
like,
girl.
yeah, ancestors of place, actually, because I have no roots in Mexico, but they were like, girls, this is your calling.
Wow. Yeah, it's, I always love it when people share these experiences and the clarity that arises also from these travels, because I've been in these moments and experiences myself where I literally feel like the land is initiating. It's into the next octave or the next path of what's waiting. It's just that we don't get it. So whenever that clarity arises, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And would you say that it's a culture where spirituality or magic is even more interwoven into the day-to-day than it is in the Western world?
Yeah, totally. It's crazy because there you can like really openly say, yeah, I'm a witch, and the people are like, oh, cool, me too, or my mother too, or my friend as well. So let's connect. And this is why I really love Latin America, especially in the places where I've been in Mexico, for example, because they have like this huge ancestral culture. But I have to say, like, for me, energetically, it's also a lot more like, where's light, there's also shadow, and they have like a lot of light. But when you step into the shadow, it's like really heavy, deep shit. So as I went there the first time, I did also make like experiences where I was kind of naive, and I thought, oh yeah, totally, like really curious, and then I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done or where I'm here? So kind of, and the last time I went to Mexico, we actually stayed like for a month in some place really quiet for a wedding and for friends to visit. But afterwards, I went to Mexico City alone just for a week because I really love it there, and they have like a lot of witch coffees and stuff like this. So I I wanted to also visit my friends,
The
and
witch friend.
but it was like it was just 1 week and it was still so heavy. I mean, I had to recover like a week afterwards. It was like crazy shit ongoing. Yeah, so there is a lot of magic in the culture, but I think you have to be a bit more careful sometimes because for me, in my experience, it is on another level than here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what would you, from your own experience, maybe give as a recommendation for people who are, very curious, but might, as you say, like have these, what I call them Persephone moments where you have like that blind spot of the maiden who is just like, la, 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 and all of a sudden she finds herself like in this dark corner and you're like, okay, shit, like how do I get out of here again? So what would you recommend?
For me, it's like really trust your gut because it's so important. And I know it for me, like I get sometimes overexciting of new things. I'm like, oh, super curious. And and then afterwards I have like this Persephone moment. So, and if I'm totally be honest, to me, I knew it before. So for me, it's like trust your gut and also do, if you're into it, like protection spells, work with a lot of cleansing and clearing after and before. Yeah, so like the basics of energy work, like protection, grounding, all of this stuff is really necessary. For me, it helped me a lot in Latin America, yes. Yeah, because the energies are there kind of different. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Is there any experience from your trip or trips to Colombia that you would want to share with regards to the ancestors?
Yeah, like in Colombia, for me, it's another energy. Like there are also people who doing magic, but for me, it's not so obvious like in Mexico, but I can only speak for of my personal experience. So I visited there a friend of mine from Colombia, Paula, and she is like really a soulmate of mine. When we met, it was like this direct connection, and she was like, "Ah, well, let's do like a journey," and we went to a place or a region, like the coffee region in Colombia. It's called 𝘁𝗵𝗄𝗃, and yeah, there are also like a lot of really, really nice natural places, and we also reconnected with the ancestors. But for me, it was a lot smoother, the energy. Like I could felt like free, but not so intense. So it was kind of another experience. And as we went there into this natural park, which was really, really nice, I was like kind of reminded of the Harz, which is one of my favorite regions in Germany because of the vegetation. And then I asked the ancestors for a sign, and all of a sudden they were like, how do you call it? 𝘁𝗵𝗆, Amanita
Amanita.
muscaria. Yes. And I was like, what? I didn't knew that it exists in Colombia. Afterwards, I investigated, and yeah, they exist there as well. And it was so nice because all of a sudden they were like a step after step, like a small of these amanitas. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, how do you actually work with the ancestors of a place when you go there?
For me, it always depends of the setting. Like, for example, in Colombia, I was with my friend Paola, and she isn't into that stuff. So I could like open the field, but not super deeply into it, because yeah, it was like this kind of, yeah, like I knew that if I let myself really deep into it, it's kind of difficult with her. So I was like on the smooth. And for
Crossing the
example,
veil.
yeah, for example, when I'm at Harz or at places, for example, also in Argentina, where I live with my 𝘁𝗵𝗄𝗃, with the parents of
Very good
my
name.
husband,
Yeah.
I yeah, I at first for me it's really important to get quiet and just listen to the space. And I also really love to just open the field, like with calling the elements. And yeah, then I just let myself dive into this space. And sometimes it's like I wanna give gifts, like do offering,
Mhm.
and I smudge. I clear the space. Sometimes I just do like a little spell or stuff like this. Yeah, it really depends on the space and also what it is. But for example, as you mentioned earlier, I really love to go to the place and just like feel the energy, and afterwards do like the research, so that I I also have like this respect or form of respect to literally also do like the historian part or the background of it.
Same for me. And it's also usually a nice confirmation for the mind in terms of like what you felt. Like, oh, okay, now it makes more sense.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and it's also what I feel is truly like that inner union of, you know, the more like surrender and let yourself be guided and that feminine energy, and then there is like the logical, more masculine part in a way, and bringing that together.
Yeah.
So when you travel, do you, and like specifically, you know, with the connection of the ancestors, is there usually an intention that you hold before, or is it more that I want to say, mission forms while you're on the land?
Also depends. Like when I really go to a place where I know, well, this is a site I want to see and it's like a sacred site, I normally go with an intention. But if I'm like on my way on a journey and then I see like a space or like a really, or feel like a really nice energy, then I just do it spontaneously. Yeah.
And what would you say, because you know what, and I'd be curious to know what you feel about that, because personally, and also that's what I see happening with a lot of people in my field or women in my field. First, when we embark on a journey, we might be called to different lands or different cultures, or like very maybe in the Andes or Latin America or Egypt for me is like such a big thing, right? Or Greece for some, maybe, like all of these very, very ancient cultures. And then like once we have ventured out, what also happens is a coming back to, oh, but what about actually my own like physical homeland and the land where I live on, like my lineage, my ancestors. So how do you navigate in that field?
Oh yeah, that's like exactly where my journey as well started in Latin America, and afterwards I'm like, oh yeah, I want to know more in my lineage. So good question, how I manage this. I think it's kind of like, for me, as I went the first time to Harz, it was like 3 years ago, and I was totally in love with this place. And actually, it was my family. Like, first, my parents went there, and afterwards, my brother. And they were all like, oh, there's so many witches. You have to go. You will love it. And I was like, well, okay. And as I went there, it felt like automatically home. It was like such a strong feeling. And so for me, it's like one of my intentions or a main focus that I normally do like 1 or 2 or 3 visits a year to Harz, because I really, really love it. And I feel like connecting to the roots, even though I don't know if I really have like ancestors of blood from Harz. But working with the energies there, it's like it felt so special for me. So this is like my priority. But afterwards, yeah, I'm kind of open. Like I really enjoy traveling, and also if I can combine it with sacred sites, it's nice. But yeah, it's not a must for me. Like the at this time, the most important is like Harz. Yeah.
So for those who are watching, the
Yeah.
rock formation that you see behind, it's called the Five Fingers rock. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So cool.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what we would find there and how are the energies and what can we expect when we travel to this special place.
Yeah, like in Harz, there are like still so many myths. There are still people who are recollecting them, and putting them into books. Like there's, even though, I have it there. There's also like an author. She's writing like krimis with mystical, novels with mystical background in Harz. So you can really like dive deep into it. And when you go to these places, like for me, this place in your background, it was one of the first sites that I visited in Harz with my husband, and also alone, and also with a friend. And for me, it's super, super special because you can feel this energy from the ancestors. Like really, there were like gatherings, and there were like formation ceremonies of our ancestors where they really, reconnected. And for me, it's like really, really present, the energy there. So yeah, but Harz is like such a huge region. You have to go with a car because the public transport, it's kind of difficult. But you can visit like a lot of places, and also it's normally not super overcrowded, so you can just tune into the energy and be there, be with the ancestors. Yeah.
So, from all of these different places that you have collected in your repository, I feel. Is there a common theme that you have felt for you that was like present, what you've been told, what you saw, like, and why specifically you traveled there, and maybe also how then others can understand how connecting to the ancestors of a place like really supports you in your journey?
For me, this is such a good question. Like for me, I had to think about it because I've never reflected on this, but I think it's part of it. It's vocation. Like in every part, I get like this huge impulse. Like even though in Mexico and also in Harz, like where's my vocation and my way, like the guidance. And also this reconnecting, like really this remembering, like honoring the ancestors, and especially in Harz, remembering that there was a time before the Christianity that our ancestors really gathered there, and there was so much magic going on. And for me, it's like really, this remembering and kind of through the connection, really naturalizing it, because I get a feeling that for so many people, ancestral magic or connecting with the ancestors is still like some woo-woo shit, like creepy or stuff like this. And at these places, you really can feel that it's so natural and it's so beautiful, and kind of vocation and also remembering for me.
I love that. And I'm just reflecting, on all, because it's always an awe. I mean, we had to move this conversation at one point, but now that we're having it, and you told me before, like it already fits into the theme what you're about to step into, and it fits into where I just came from over the weekend. So I just feel like it's this beautiful thread of connecting places through spoken words, but also just like through becoming a beacon of the energy, or like a tuning fork of the energy of the places that we go to, and then that reverberates outside so that others can pick up on that and don't necessarily have to even travel to the place.
Yes. And also I was speaking to a friend. She went to Avalon like last year, and she was like, she didn't even had to do so much because the place worked for her, like inside her and around her, and like all this energy stuff. And this is so nice. It's really a gift. Yeah.
What's your connection to cathedrals and churches?
Ooh. For me, like in my childhood, I always went to church, and even though my last name is 𝘄𝘆𝗶𝘆. So there, there's like there's like a huge part of my family, the part of my paternal side, like the side of my father, who are like huge into this Christianity and church culture. And I was also like feeling really connected to it as a child and as a teenager as I went there. But afterwards, I question it a bit. But for me, like the church was always something sacred. And still, for me, all like there are like example no. There are some churches with not so nice energy, but in general, I really appreciate it. Like it's traveling into another time and space. And also, I learned that normally the Christians build their churches on the sacred sites, where before the Christianity, they were like the special energy. So for me, yeah, you can literally feel it. It's something like, yeah, the energy and also the space they creating in churches. It's really mythical. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So now we are diving into a section that is rather new on the show. I call it rapid starfire questions. So it's a couple of questions, and you just like, and some is like an either or, and you just decide spontaneously, intuitively, out of the moment what speaks to you right now. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Latin America or Homeland, Germany?
Ooh, Homeland, Germany.
Spellcasting or rune reading?
Spellcasting.
Soaking in the light or dancing with the shadow?
Dancing with the shadow.
Your biggest breakthrough so far?
Oh, like dancing with the shadows, accepting that there's a part of me who creates also the drama and everything. So for me, it was like really accept also this like fucked up parts of me and dancing with them. Yeah.
Your personal power plays?
Sanctuaries.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Like my brain didn't translate that. Like what?
I was like, oh, did I spell the fast?
Wow. Okay. Great answer.
Graveyards. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Your everyday ritual?
I have a morning ritual. So I do meditation and also sports. And also I have a vision, which I always like writing down. And also I hear it.
Thanks for sharing. And your all-time favorite plant ally?
Cacao, I think. I don't have like an all-time, like, yeah, cacao, mama cacao, but also probably, how do you say 𝘆𝗵𝗁?
Yarrow. It's yarrow.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So feminine, so healing.
Yeah. The eyebrow of Aphrodite.
Yes. Yes. So that's actually a beautiful segue. Where do you feel where we can find modern day sanctuaries in this world today, as women especially?
For me, it's like reconnecting with nature, like really go into the nature because, well, I live in Berlin, so it's like crowded and also a lot of energy. For me, it's really important to just go into nature and connect me there, but also reconnect with other people and really build like strong networks, strong relations, not just romantic relationships, also like really this bond between witches and sisters, but also like really close friends. For me, it's super important, and it gives me like a lot of healing and energy.
So true. And I've been sitting a lot with what we actually can learn from nature and the tree network and the mycelia about that for humans.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So you also wrote a book.
Yeah.
And it's available in German. Tell us a little bit about the transformation that people can go through when reading the book.
Actually, my grandfather, who passed away like really a lot of years ago, he was with me in the process of writing the book, like his energy. So this book is about the witch wound and how you can heal it, but it's also a part where we dive into like the dark history of the witch wounds, but also the history of magic. So it has a lot of aha moments. Like normally people who read the book, they're like, oh my God, now everything makes so much more sense. We go also through the symptoms of the witch wound, like you can there dive deeper. And also one part is with meditation, ancestral healing and stuff. Like you can really process all of this like shadow into light. Yeah, it's my intention also that you can go deeper with the witch. Like in German, it's always kind of mean if you call someone witch. It's like not so nice. So for me, like one of my intentions with this book was really to reclaim the word witch for us, like as a power move also. Yeah.
Yay. So we'll definitely put it in the show notes. Everybody who is capable of reading German, check it out. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap it up?
Well, speaking of like reconnecting and do all this work with the ancestors, always to remind that you don't just do it for yourself, you do it also for all the people that came before you and also for all the people and souls who will come afterwards to join us. So it's kind of a movement for me. It's like healing the collective. So every step on the way is like, can really, have an impact. And for me, it's super important that we create an impact in this world with our work. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow. I feel we just scratched a little bit the surface of like what's all there. But thank you. And before I let you go, where can the audience find you? And is there anything that you would like to share in terms of upcoming offerings?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, but I have to admit I do normally posts in German. So, but my Instagram is the Herstory Witch, and I also have a podcast and a Telegram channel. But it's all in German. But you are really welcome there. And feel free also to, if you feel connected to the ancestral work, I will do like a small space in September, I think 20th. It's like the ancestral healing space, and we do like 9 days diving a bit deeper into ancestral work. And if you want to join, you're very welcome.
Wow, so cool. Please send me the link so I can also drop it into the show notes. And then we have everything there. Thank you. Well, I'm really excited that we connected so many different places all around the globe. And, one thing that came very strongly for me is really this ancestral thread of the connection of the stones and the bones, because both hold some sort of memory for our cellular structure, whether it is for us personally or for the earth. And so the more we approach these places, like whether it's our body temple or like these outer pagan temples in a way, with reverence, respect, intention, and just a loving heart, the more healing can happen everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, so nice. Yeah, totally. This is like our work to remember the people and also guide them to their places, where the magic can happen.
Yes.
So nice.
Yes. Thank you, Melissa. Thanks for being
Thank you.
here. You did a wonderful job. Also, next time we try to do it in Spanish. It's gonna be heavier for me then. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, Julia. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening and watching to this great conversation. And as always, stay curious and try to escape the ordinary. I'll see you next time.